Hello and welcome again to the Writer Review. This is Eric Carruth Writer, and this week we're going to be taking a look back at the 2009 shock comedy titled Bruno. And Bruno was directed by Larry Charles. It is produced by Sacha Baron Cohen, Jay Roche, Dan Mazer, and Jonah Hill. The script was also written by Sacha Baron Cohen, Anthony Hines, Dan Manzer, Jeff Schaefer, and Peter Bainham. The music was done by his brother Aaron Baron Cohen. The cinematography was done by Anthony Hardwick and Wolfgang Held, and the editing was done by Scott Davids and James Thomas. And the comedy runs for 81 minutes long. And the stars of the movie are, of course, Sacha Baron Cohen, Gustav Hammerstein, Gary Williams, Michelle McLaren, and also appearances by Harrison Ford, conservative congressperson Ron Paul, and cameos from Bono, Sting, Elton John, and Snoop Dogg. What did I think of this movie? 5 years ago, I was at the opening of the film Bruno, having the time of my life laughing until I accidentally fell off my seat. As I was having the time of my life, a dozen patrons got up and left in anger and utter disgust. As I said to myself, if these guys were appalled by the actions of Sacha Baron Cohen's controversial character, Bruno, then I guess it's just safe to say he must have done his job right. I am led to believe that fans who have come to see Bruno are purposely going for the sake of being shocked, humiliated, slandered, and offended. In 2006, Cohen co-starred in the controversial film Borat. People were very flabbergasted and expected the unexpected. In the film Bruno, from the trailer, people were already outraged and went as far as to even file lawsuits, and all the Borat fans were milking about it. And yet people just still continue to become amazed and yet offended at the same time. So it's hard to tell who are the true honest fans and who are fans who are just hypocrite and will just negatively purport anything that they see redeemingly offensive as being an act of poor cinema. When I saw Bruno, I not only laughed at every minute, but I also felt a huge sigh of relief. In the fabricated world where being politically correct is not optional, which comes at the cost of a lack of creativity and originality, Bruno kind of represents a film where someone actually has the balls to step up, go all the way, and create something new and refreshing, and for that, it truly has my approval. Following the legacy of his predecessor Borat, Bruno tells the tale of a gay Austrian supermodel named Bruno, whose upcoming show, Funky Zeit im Bruno, was sadly cancelled. So without hesitation, he takes his show to America in hopes to rectify his position to exceptional fame. His antics will shock you, as it goes way beyond his expectations, like pitching the idea for a reality show by turning his gay ways over to becoming super straight like Tom Cruise and John Travolta. He goes far by exploiting everyone from Republican politicians like Ron Paul to homophobic rednecks who are protesting about how wrong it is to be gay. Borat director Larry Charles has a similar format, but it's still, very effective. Bruno invades into celebrity events and unravels the ugliness of both celebrities and celebrity wannabes alike. Whereas Borat shocked people unexpectedly, I'll say one thing, Bruno did lose a bit of its steam and a bit of its originality, but it still succeeded to intrigue others while at the same time angered the film fanatics. And if he was doing that just to get his message across, just to piss everyone off, then in the end, those naysayers are the ones who have the egg on their faces, not Sacha Baron Cohen. He's laughing all the way to the bank, feeling he could give himself a self-congratulatory pat on his back for the job well done. Its puzzling flaw is that it's hard to determine which scenes were real and which ones were orchestrated. It may seem believable that Congressman Ron Paul was likely exploited thanks to the hilarious scene with Bruno, but it's hard to imagine that top stars like Paula Abdul and Harrison Ford were oblivious as to what they were about to get during their respective interviews. Even the supporting characters like the overwhelmed LA agent was so deep it couldn't possibly be believable. Even though he claims that, with the exception of the Harrison Ford scene, everything was completely ad-libbed and unexpected. And, when he went as far as to travel to Africa to adopt a black baby in exchange for an iPod, that shocked a lot of people, and we don't really know if that was actually real or fabricated. When he went to travel to the Middle East and to try to negotiate between the Israelis and the Palestinians, there was a bit of an outrage there, and I believe he actually did receive death threats. So it just goes to show you that sensitive viewers, I would just simply say, stay away. Just don't go to see it if you are going to be offended. If you could take the sense of humor and you could sit back and be intrigued by the shock. Sure, of course, there's a lot of sexual exploitation in this movie that people may be disgusted by, thinking that, it overdoes it with the sexual content, that it should have been made as a porno film instead of a comedy. Well, you guys are out on a limb, because it's just out to create the shock value. And if you guys were appalled, disgusted, and just completely trashed the film, well, Sacha Baron Cohen has only one thing to say. Thank you. The movie shows absolutely no sympathy for any of its actions or reactions, even when it blatantly attacks both the gay and the anti-gay community. The film was definitely custom-made for moderate film viewers who have a political frame of mind and who seem that they can still find the time to laugh at their own faults, while at the same time someone else's faults. And it's made for people who are not appalled by raunchy sexual humor, which is actually why this movie is rated R, and I would not recommend it to watch it during the day. Keep your kids away, keep the teenagers away. This movie is definitely made for people not under the age of 18. It's a strictly an R-rated movie. There isn't too much over-the-top violence scenes, but the sexual material is truly overwhelming. With the overpowering of ambush journalism in America, and with guys who like to have shock value to their movies, like Michael Moore, or the Jackass films, or the Trailer Park Boys, I thought Bruno overall was an in-your-face screwball comedy that had a taste more of Stephen Colbert than, I would say, Candid Camera. Of course, there are a myriad of deleted scenes from the movie that were left out eternally on the Hollywood table. Such scenes involving LaToya Jackson was completely cut. And this was, of course, maybe in the wake following the death of her brother Michael Jackson, and did not want any kind of retribution on behalf of him or the Jackson family. And let's see, what else was there? There was also others like the bingo scene that was also cut. Get out of here. Sorry about that technical error. And then there was others like the bingo scene was also dropped without warning. Sure, the movie has been rated NC-17. It still lobbies to fall under rating, knowing that the surprises will come at you and will smack you in the face. I was very excited when I got the DVD. The commentaries are priceless, and the deleted scenes were equally offensive as the movie itself. The extras may even go so far as to usurp the film, and, you know, that's not entirely a bad thing. So, to summarize, I highly recommend you see Bruno, as you will be shocked, angered, and at the same time mystified. And while you're laughing your butts off, which was really what this movie was intended on doing, don't come crying to me if you get offended by the material, unless you're laughing yourself to tears. So if I was to give this movie a rating out of 10, I would definitely give it a 9. It's that exciting, and I'm kind of at a loss of words. And I think the only people who probably will be appalled are strict conservatives, or people who just don't want to admit the fact that they have faults themselves. No one's perfect. We're all human. And we should just, you know, kick back and relax. Think of it as a source of entertainment. There's really no such person named Bruno. This is all just an act of fiction. This is all just a fictional movie. There's no such person named Bruno. And just leave it at that. I mean, he's not actually pointing at a single particular person. He's pointing at everyone. We're all in this together. And if you keep that frame in mind, then I don't see why you or anybody else should be offended. Thank you all for listening in. I guess this ends my writer review. I would love to hear from you guys. You can feel free to write back with any kind of feedback, as long as you're polite and courteous. And I will be back with another review. So until next time, this is Eric Corrupt Writer saying, keep watching those movies, and I'll see you again. Goodbye.